Welcome to Aphra's Artifacts, where we do some archaeology of our own and dig into the queer side of Star Wars. I'm your host, Alia Morgaine, and it's so great to have you here. Today, we are joined by Mark Perez from Pink Milk After Dark, and I am so excited to have him on
Hello.
here tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be the first of a series of interview episodes. So I am super excited about that. And without further ado, I'll ask you my first question. Who is the most relatable character to you in Star Wars?
That is going to be my little green master Yoda.
Nice.
Just because he's little and he inspires me because it's like just because he's little doesn't mean that he can't accomplish a lot. And he's wise and he's not perfect, and
Yeah,
I just loved him ever since I was a little kid. So it stayed with me.
that's awesome. I love that answer. I love it when people have relatable characters that are out of the norm for relatable characters. Like for me, one of mine is C3PO. So
Awesome.
that's like, what? So I like that Yoda. That's really good. Have you been keeping up with any of the High Republic advent
I've been so bad. My to read pile is just high itself,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it is taunting me. And it's
yeah.
like, I don't feel like I'm never going to get to those books. It's so horrible.
Because I will say that High Republic Adventures
Yeah.
has some fantastic Yoda.
Okay. Good to know. See,
So
that's
keep that in
incentive.
mind. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay,
Like there's
cool.
this one scene where he makes a joke about a bat creature who's a pet of another person
Yeah.
eating a finger of a Nile. And he's just like, he's full now. He's happy and full. And I'm like, he just ate a finger. It's pretty funny because Yoda's
Yeah.
just Yoda.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty great. That's awesome. Okay. So who is your favorite Star Wars queer character?
Well, at the moment, it would be Dr. Aphra. And yes,
Yay.
just because I love how she just came on the scene and it's just like everybody like started loving her. And just like at first I was like, oh my God, she's so mischievous, she's smart, leaves a trail of broken hearts behind her. It's like, and it's just fun seeing her get in the trouble.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like all of the characters that come along with her as well too. It's like they're all like a weird, darker, skewed version of like the Star Wars universe that we know, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that makes it even more fun. So I just love seeing it, and the representation is important,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, I think, just across the board, it's just both gay and straight people have just taken a liking to the character. And
Yeah.
hey, what more could you ask for, right? It's a start. So I'm super happy about that because obviously we're not getting it too much in the movie. So it's cool to see a character like that be accepted and loved and watch the fandom just like gather around that character.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. I so want more Aphra in any form possible. And you're right about the other characters that get brought along on her journeys with her. There's quite a bit of representation in the comic itself, which is really,
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah.
So I love me some Aphra. um, and then what kind of representation would you like to see more of in Star Wars?
Well, I mean, obviously in the movies, just have queer characters in there who just, are just themselves
Mm,
and are part of the bigger picture. Um, because right now, like we've only had little snippets, a little lesbian kiss way in the background, you know, um, and just it's just not enough,
yeah.
considering
Yeah.
where we're at, what year it is.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I just would think by now that we would be much more incorporated into the universe, because it seems like in the comic books and in the books it's just much easier to be able to do that, right? But for some reason
Yeah.
they're just scared of making that leap into the screen. I think we're gonna see it on Disney Plus before we see it on the big screen. But I'm okay with that because let's see something. And
Yeah.
I hope it's soon because obviously, you know, queer fandom has grown so much within Star Wars and the voice has gotten louder. And there's so
Mhm.
many more of us who are speaking and get to be amongst each other and talk about the things that are important to us. And so, yeah, we would love to see that representation on screen for sure. I know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a Latino male queer character. It's just a good queer character that everybody was like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in whatever form that we're going to see it in. I mean, I see other shows like, like the Orville did it in such a way with two characters that I absolutely love, and it just didn't even seem like they were even forced in there at all. It was perfect the way that they were brought about, the two male characters that are together.
Yeah.
And you gotta love that. And so that's the way it's like, just do it, just do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And we have Flix and Orca from Resistance,
that is true.
the
Yes.
cartoon animated show,
Yeah,
but they're not human, and they're not even necessarily as humanoid as they could be.
yeah, yeah.
They're very, you've got the bat guy and you've got the bird guy, and so kind of it's a little distanced from our being able to really see ourselves in it. But at the same time, I do love them dearly.
Yeah, they're
But
super cute.
they're
They're
so
like,
funny. They're so great. Old married couple. I
right?
love
Gay,
them.
our gay uncles.
Yes, yes. So that's delightful, but I mean, it would be so great to see something in live action,
Yeah, yeah.
no matter what, form that took. But I agree. I agree. And you've mentioned this a little bit, but how is it for you as a queer person to be in the Star Wars fandom?
Well, I find myself in a spot where I'm able to talk more freely with other queer fans. I mean, look, it's like I'm here talking with you. I never dreamt of that as a little young gay
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
that one day my Star Wars fandom and myself being queer would just join up, and then I would meet all these great people, and then I'd become part of Pink Milk and get to talk about the subject and grow as a person and learn about things, that are outside of me doing the show. I mean, it's like
Mhm.
it's become this whole other thing I just never dreamt of, and I absolutely love it. I appreciate it, and I'm so thankful that it came into my life because it's just made it possible for me to meet other queer fans as well too.
Right.
So I while the representation may not be there within the films, I have to say that with the fandom, it's fantastic. I love it. I love that we can all join up online and hopefully meet at Celebration, someday.
Yeah.
And there's more out there. There's more out there. And it's like as people grow up and they come into the fandom, it's like we're gonna meet all these new people who get introduced to Star Wars. So it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that I've been, I guess at first I was surprised, but now the fact that I feel so accepted as a queer person
Yeah,
in Star Wars fandom,
yeah,
it's really awesome.
yeah, yeah,
I definitely feel that.
yeah. Well, I have to say, like I told you before when we were on the show, I mean, I admire the fact that you went and did this. You did so well in trivia and everything. And as a queer person, seeing somebody be successful doing that, it's like, that's awesome. So I just, you are helping make all that a much bigger picture. So I'm thankful for you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I had a great time. And where can people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at I am El Diablito and Instagram as well. And of course, on Friday nights at Pink Milk After Dark, we are on at 8 o'clock Pacific time. Come and hang out with us and with me, Brian, Emma, and Chase as we talk Star Wars queerly.
I love it. I love that tagline. I think it's
Right.
wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Thank you so much. And to everybody watching, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at AliaMorgain, and peruse my blog at the Star Wars Review.blogspot.com. May the Force be with you.